All right, frontal blessings. We are back with another video. This will be part two to the first set Heru video. But before I begin, a couple quick condensed announcements. Let me just run through them real quick. If you're interested in booking your yearly 2024 yearly forecast reading, that is happening now. I'm doing them from now until about the first week in February. So if you want to book your yearly forecast reading, your 2024 yearly forecast reading, shoot me an email and I'll send you the information on how you can book that reading. If you're interested in the various different readings that I do offer, Klepothic demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings, which is always a good thing to do. Always mastering the shadow self. Deity readings to see what spirits, demons, gods, and goddesses walk with you. For any information to book any of those readings, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com, and I will send you information on how to book either your yearly forecast reading for 2024 or any of the previous mentioned readings. If you want to sign up for classes, people always email, how can I sign up for the classes you offer, what kind of classes you offer. Everything is on the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, excuse me, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That gives you access to the 3 private classes that I do every month on Patreon, and it gives you access to the ritual we do together as a group at the end of the month. There's a bunch of ongoing classes. When you join, not only do you get access to the classes from the day you join moving forward, you also get everything in the archive, which goes 3 years back. Everything is archived on the Patreon page, categorized by classes and then in numerical order. I have a whole section just for the monthly rituals we've done the last 3 years. You can see all the ritual work and actually carry out the ritual work as you see fit. Like I said, we go in way more in depth on Patreon. We talk about things and deal with certain topics on Patreon that we obviously don't deal with openly on the YouTube page. So check that out, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join to sign up for the classes. All right, in addition to that, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is available on Spotify, all major podcast platforms. The link to the podcast is in the description box of this video. Also, check out the Instagram page, Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, one word. Primordial Chaos, 2 words on Facebook. I also upload all the new content, all the new YouTube videos, also are posted on the Facebook page. So the description, in the description box of this video, you have the link for my email address, how to reach out to me for a reading, forecast reading, consultation. You have the link also for the podcast. You also have the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page on how to sign up for classes. All of that information is in the description box of this video that you are watching right now. All right, so we talked about last time the battle of your will between the higher and lower self, that internal battle that you fight on a regular and a daily basis, as I described in the last video. All of that, which is going to summarize this in part 2, set in Heru, the embodiment of light and darkness, which creates the harmony that we are all trying to achieve and obtain on this path. So as I've said before, we talked about the last video, Set representing the higher self, Heru or Horus represent the lower self, Set representing, chaos, rebelliousness, the red blood cells, Heru or Horus representing conformity, the white blood cells, right? When we look at it from an esoterical perspective. Now, we have to understand your goal, whether you call yourself a black magician, a sorcerer, a witch, all these different titles people want to carry to identify their magical practice. Your goal is to embody light and darkness simultaneously in the right harmony or formula that's right or works for you. Now, the mask of Lucifer as itself, in its many forms, in this form we're talking about Set, the Prince of Darkness, or I like to refer to him as the King of Darkness. But again, one of the important things to understand, even though when we talk about Set representing rebelliousness, chaos, the god of desert and storms, he is affiliated with that raw primordial chaotic energy, because he brings it out in an individual so they can master it or make harmony of it. Okay? That's the one key factor that's always negated with Set. Yeah, it's always talked about the chaotic, destructive energy, the power of Set, and all that is 150% true. But also Set is the driving force. Set is the deity or the demon you go to make harmony. And that harmony is obtained by the proper amount of light and darkness that an individual needs in order to be really locked into their path, to be flowing and going in the direction they need to go. And as I said before, it's not always about, unfortunately, sometimes people can get the perception that this path is always about gloom and doom and everything is so deep and dark and dreary and this and that. That stuff is kind of fucked up because it creates stereotypes about this path that confuses people even more. Especially it's worse for those that are already spooked out about this path. Because people hear the term left-hand path, people hear the term Satan or Lucifer, people hear the word occult. To people who are ignorant as it is, that pumps more fear of the unknown into them. And then they draw their own conclusions and make judgments based on either spooky shit they've been told, read, heard, or seen by incorrect sources that know nothing about this path. So in essence, your goal as a practitioner on the left-hand path, as a magician, is to obtain and embody that right level of light and darkness that you need to be successful in your life. So as I've said before in the past, there's periods where what we're labeling light energy, right, or the flip side to what we're calling the dark chaotic energy, sometimes you need healing energy. Sometimes you need emotional healing energy. Sometimes you need to tap into lighter vibrational frequencies because those vibrational frequencies are needed for you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then, yes, there's times where you must tap in to that dark, intense energy of chaos and the abyss, which is raw and primordial in nature, because it comes from the essence, the origin. That has to be done. One must go there first in order to understand what comes after it. Okay? But the goal and where the work comes in is you figuring out, when those times are. When do you need light? When do you need darkness? And in what levels and what amount? And what ritual work and what things are you going to do, create, and design to fulfill that need? See, that's where your job and work comes in. As I've said a million times before, look, don't rely on anything or anybody to do everything for you on this path. Don't think books are going to explain every little single detail to you of what you need to do and what you need to know and how to do it. It's just not going to happen. Okay? You have to take the initiative in what needs to be done in order for you to be successful on this path. Okay? You got to do that. Nobody can do that for you. Okay? Now, the one thing that kind of bothers me sometimes with people is they show a lack of effort to kind of sometimes work through things and figure things out. So they'll throw in the towel sometimes, and they'll look to something or somebody to give them the answer or the clarity on it. Especially when it comes to ritual work. You don't know how many times people reach out and say, I did this ritual and, and such, and I just did this and that, and I don't know, and what do you think went wrong? And I'm like, man, it could be a bunch of things. We would have to really analyze and dig deep and probe. And as I talked about in the video yesterday or the other day, whenever it was, remember, as a magician, yesterday I think it was, you are a scientist, you are experimenting. Just because you might do something once or twice and fail, that doesn't mean you throw in the towel. That means dig harder to find out what's going on. Keep plugging away. Because unfortunately, just throwing in the towel and then asking somebody you think is qualified to give you an answer or explanation, that's not always going to work for you. Okay? So, we should look at this Set and Heru archetype, this whole story, right, as your journey via your struggles, your successes, and your failures on being able to and having the ability to create the right amount of light and darkness your spirit and your soul needs to have you successfully navigate through your path of self-mastery. Now, when we look at the mask of the adversary in the form of Lucifer, right? Lucifer, the light bearer. Why is one of his attributes or titles called the light bearer? I thought Lucifer or Satan was the prince of darkness, right? I thought that was one of his titles. So how could he also be attributed to the title the light bearer? How is this? Because when one, especially through Luciferian philosophy and practice, when one connects with Lucifer, one seeks illumination. This is where you get the term the illuminated ones, or the Illuminatus, where we get the English word Illuminati. And I'm not talking about the Illuminati that you read on the internet about conspiracy theorists and the powers that be that's trying to control the world, this, that, and the other. No, we're not talking about that Illuminati. We're talking about one who is seeking illumination or on the path of illumination, right? Because a true Luciferian is seeking that illumination or enlightenment that's going to give them, he or she, the knowledge to master themselves. And that illumination or enlightenment is obtained in the darkness via Lucifer, the light bearer. The light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Okay? So to seek true illumination is why we go into the darkness. That light is the intellect, as I've said a million times before. So when we're doing ritual work, we're working with the clip-out, we're doing work with the void and the abyss, this, that, and the other. These are the reasons. That's our motivation factor of why we're doing it. We're trying to go into that primordial, chaotic, dark, void, and abyss and tap in to the essence and the origin of where these things manifest from. That's why. It's that simple. Okay? Now, I'm not saying it's simple because it's work, but I'm saying to understand the concept and lay it out for you is about as simple as I can lay that out. I can't lay it out any simpler. So darkness is not what people think it is. Okay? People get so spooked out. I mean, you don't know how many people, and more so I'm talking now about people that are not on this path, who are so frightened of this path because of all the negative stereotypes and stigmas people give it based on their false definition and understanding. And it frightens people because they have misconceptions of maybe some of the negative shit they've come across. They label, for an example, a person who might say they're Luciferian or a Satanist. People hear that word, oh my God, Satanist, you guys are sacrificing animals and children and doing, no. Okay, that's not what it means. This is a path of enlightenment. Okay? True individuals and people that are on this path are trying to obtain the hidden gnosis and knowledge of self. We're trying to understand every aspect of ourselves. Worshipping something outside of ourselves isn't going to give us those answers. Because what it does now, it focuses and it takes us away from within, and it puts us out there somewhere now in the clouds, looking for a spook god or a sky daddy that doesn't exist. See, Set and Heru represent your true nature. You have a very passive, conformist side of your nature that you must know how to facilitate. Now, as I said, when you look at the manifestation of the hawk-faced Lord, that's a very volatile manifestation of Heru. or Horus. After all Horus goes through, the wars with Set, getting his eye plucked out, he comes to the realization that this light, love, and fluffy shit all the time, that's not the answer. The Hawk-faced Lord is the manifestation of Heru after he learned some of these critical lessons. Okay, it reminds me of, I don't, because there's so many damn Star Wars. The Star Wars movie that came out a couple of years ago, the one where Luke Skywalker is living up in the mountains as a hermit, and the girl that's supposed to be the next great Jedi is seeking him out. She finds him up in the mountains, living like a hermit, and she comes to find out he is just now neutral. He's given up a lot of that Jedi philosophy, but there's a key scene and moment in there when he explains to her it's not about the light side. It's not about being a Jedi. It's not about, this thing of trying to convince, the universe that it's about peace and love and what the Jedis represent, that mission. He basically, there's something that stands out in that scene where he says he realized you also need an element of the dark side. And it's almost like you see him in the scene, he has these regrets about spending his whole life chasing this concept or illusion that he believed was legit, but through his experiences, he realized he had a better understanding of the dark side. And he tells you it's not about just the one or the other. It's about both. You need the dark side and the light side, but with the dark side being the foundation. Okay? This is how you should look at how your approach should be on this path, in that form of Set and Heru. Set representing the darkness, Heru representing the light. So tap into that spiritual power, that understanding, because that is your goal in your mundane existence here on this planet. How can I tap in and make that connection? And how can, after I make that connection, how can that be facilitated into every aspect of my life so I can master myself on what I teach in the 5 points of mastery on the pentagram: spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially? Okay? That's the goal. And make sure you have goals, people. And if you have very big goals, that's going to take a lot of work. Set smaller goals to get to those big goals, because you're going to feel like you're succeeding when you're doing that. Okay? So Set Heru energy in this form is about understanding the combined aspect of what both of those forces or energies or spirits represent. Okay? That's critical. That's important, because that's going to give you a greater understanding of what this path is about, number one. Two, how you need to approach your ritual work. Okay? All of this is going to give you an effective understanding of what this path is really about. And that's why I've said many times before, it's not, be careful. Look, just like any other system, any other group, you're always going to have your nutbags. So it's just part of the territory. But just be careful you're not, fucking around with shit that, again, serves you no purpose. Right? You can't, look, reality is you can't be doing dark, intense work 24/7. Stop. I know there's motherfuckers out there, they're so dark. Oh, I do this, I do. There's duality to everything in the universe. Everything serves a purpose. Okay? And it's that old adage, too much of anything isn't good for you. So it's not good for you to just be, I'm so dark and gloom and doom all the time. Oh, this, that. There's also recuperation, recovery, and healing. Okay? Let's not get it twisted. We got to make sure we have clarity in our approach. Okay. Anyway, I'm at my second destination, my Planet Fitness. I'm going to get my exercise on. Looks like still a bit windy here. This is supposed to be the last day of this fucked up weather we've been getting. But the rain has subsided, it looks like. Still a little cloudy sun popping out. Tomorrow is supposed to get back to pretty much normal. And as I'm saying that, right in front of me, let me show you guys this to show you how much rain we've been getting these last couple of days. Let me turn the camera around. I'm in Planet Fitness parking lot. Check this out. Let me just show you this real quick. I'll take my glasses off. This is how much rain we've been getting. I don't know if you can see the parking lot. It's right over there. It's pretty deep. You can't even see the parking lines. Look at that. That side is flooded, and that's why you don't see anybody parked on that side. That's how much rain we've been getting out in this bitch. This bee's eating. Let me stop. All right, but that's going to wrap it up for this video. All right. Yeah, check it out. If you need to reach out to me for a consultation, 2024 yearly forecast reading. If you need to reach out for anything else, shoot me an email. Email's in the description box. The direct link to the Primordial Chaos podcast, that's in the description box of the video. The direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page for classes. All of that information, how to contact me, readings, classes, everything's in the description box of this video. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Let me get in here and finish my second set to be finished with this today, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Final blessings.